were able to bring guests, and they were charged the regular guest fee. So this is a separate category now, which is a non-resident member guest fee. So, and that's why it said NA. I know it was a little confusing, but that's why. I also want to mention the Bergen County Housing Authority is pleased to announce the opening of the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program waitlist. They'll accept pre-applications through this Friday, January 18th. A random selection lottery will be conducted to select 350 applicants to be placed on the wait list. And the applications are online. You must be 18 years of age or older, or be an emancipated minor to apply. This wait list only opens once every several years. So if you know of anyone who may be eligible, I'd appreciate it if you pass it on. We have this information also on our website. Finally, all village offices will be closed this coming Monday, January 21st, in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. There will be no recycling or garbage pickup on that day, and the recycling center will also be closed.
All right. Move on to council reports. Councilman Seaton.
Thank you, Mayor. Last night, the Ridgewood Environmental Advisory Committee and the Green Team met downstairs in the garden room. It was a very long meeting. It was close to 3 hours, but we covered a lot of ground and got a lot of good discussions, items taken care of on the agenda. So one thing that's going to be coming before the council will be a very short presentation, just kind of wrap up the year-long outreach that REAC has done for banning single-use plastic bags. So just to wrap that up, that presentation will be given, and then the council will discuss the possibility of moving this forward as an agenda item at that menu, or at that meeting. We're beginning our application for Sustainable Jersey Silver certification. We're not going to submit until the spring of 2020, but it's such a long and cumbersome application to put together. I think our current application is 400 plus pages, so we're divvying up the work and having people pay attention to different things that we're doing to gather information and to recertify, hopefully at the same level, at the silver level in 2020. There's a tentative date of May 18th for a styrofoam collection pickup, and we're in the process of trying to secure the Graydon South parking lot. This is an initiative that was actually brought by Sustainable Jersey's Bergen Hub, and Ridgewood is participating with several other towns that already received a $20,000 grant to hold several styrofoam collection drives throughout Bergen County. So if you have Christmas gifts and big chunks of styrofoam that you don't know what to do with, hold on to it until May, and we'll give you somewhere to drop it off. And I believe that's it. Our next meeting is going to be February 19th, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. We're in the process now of scheduling NV5 to come and discuss various environmental components of the future master plan that we're working together to get ready for the village. And that's it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Historic Preservation Commission met last Thursday evening. We had one application in front of us, and that was for a restoration of a home in a historic district of North Pleasant. And it's an interesting remodel of this particular house, and we're always appreciative of residents who purchase homes and choose not to knock those down, but instead to restore and maintain the integrity of that historic district neighborhood. So we thank those residents. July 4th is just around the corner. We met Monday evening, and we're working on our theme. The theme always impacts the elementary schools for their floats, so we're working on a couple of different ideas and all the details surrounding security costs and the ever-escalating costs of running the both the parade and the fireworks. So hopefully by this time next month, our next public meeting, we'll have a theme in place, and we'll be able to announce that, and we will know who our Grand Marshal is and what the activities will be for the evening events. And actually, Dad's Night bands will always be on hand. They'll be helping out with the evening entertainment, so we're grateful to those guys too. They're always wonderful, guys and girls. Planning board meeting was canceled last night. However, the Master Plan Advisory Committee, which is a subgroup of the Planning Board, did meet, and we went over a number of items on the visioning process. So right now on visionridgewood.org, if anyone goes on there, you can see we've added a new feature, which is Map Your Vision, and it's really super interactive and very cool. So you can go on there, and I encourage everybody to go there, and you'll see a map of the village, and you'll have 3 options of different kind of flags to enter into a location, and then you can add comments about how you think that can be improved, and how you think that what changes, what are the downsides to these areas, and what benefits to the community. Some people are just marking it as their favorite places in town. You can upload photos and a whole bunch of things, so it's really very interactive and really interesting. We will continue to work on our village-wide mailer. We anticipate that going out hopefully mid-February, and that will encourage everyone throughout the village to participate in the visioning process, which is the foundation for a future master plan for the village. And we will also be scheduling, based on the feedback from the mailer, we will be scheduling 2 workshops for sometime late April, early May. And by June or July, we will be wrapping up this process and then begin work on the village master plan. So it's really, really exciting. So remember, visit the website, visionridgewood.org, and participate, take the survey. The survey does take about 10 minutes, but it's worth it because it's really good feedback for us, and it will be the guiding documents for the future of the village and development patterns, environmental, open space, everything, and historic preservation, so it's important. And Access will meet tomorrow night, Community Access Network. We'll meet tomorrow evening downstairs at 7:30, and that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Walsh?
I actually don't have anything to report. The library reported for me on that front, and Heather reported for Chamber. So I'm good to go.
All right. Councilman Boyd?
Thank you, Mayor. CSAC is meeting tomorrow night in the Garden Room in Village Hall at 7:30. It's open to the public, and that's all I have to report. Thank you.
All right, we're going to keep it light today. I have nothing to report. Actually, no, we had to meet the mayor this past Saturday. It was a pretty lively session, so it actually went on a little bit past the scheduled time, but good discussion. Some important issues are raised, more specific to particular neighborhoods and streets, but taking all the feedback and going back to village staff and working with the village manager, resolving some of the issues that were highlighted. But again, I welcome everyone. If you have any questions, anything that's important that can't wait, just coming down on the 2nd Saturday of the month, right here across the hallway, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And looking forward to talking to a lot more residents.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
Okay. So just for all my council colleagues, NV5 will actually be reaching out, if they haven't already, to each of you for your committees and coordinating so that they'll have access to all of those individuals, and you can add your feedback. And Jeff, actually, Councilman Boyd reminded me when he said CSAC, because I'm not sure if they've been there yet, but they will be. Okay? Thanks.
So we actually had, we did have NV5 at the Central Business District Advisory Committee last Thursday. And Neil Desai, I think he's amazing. His approach to this is very kind of casual and, you know, but everyone was so engaged. I mean, the whole meeting was dedicated pretty much to this. And everybody walked away feeling like they were plugged into what was happening. And as a result of that, there's some follow-up meetings that will happen. We're putting together a roundtable of commercial property owners. We want to hear their input. And we're also going to get a roundtable of realtors and other folks who hear a lot about what's happening in other places and sort of how that's driving, whether it's residents or businesses to those communities. So I think that provides some very valuable input in terms of what we want to be going forward. And that's all I have.
He is amazing, so I'm grateful for that. Thanks.
All right.
So we'll move on to the resolution. The following resolution, numbered 19-02, will be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. It will be read by title only. 19-02, authorize temporary capital budget. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Newton,
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes.
There are no ordinances for Ridgewood Water. However, there are resolutions for Ridgewood Water. The following resolutions, numbered 19-03 through 19-19, will be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Title 59, approval, landscaping services, award contract, landscaping services. Title 59, approval, line stop and valve insertion services, award contract, line stop and valve insertion services. Title 59, approval, servicing and repair of electric source, award contract, servicing and repair of electric source. Title 59, approval, furnishing and delivering sodium hypochlorite solution, award contract, furnishing and delivering sodium hypochlorite solution. Title 59, approval, laboratory analysis services, award contract, laboratory analysis services. Title 59, approval, water billing and data collection services, award contract, water billing and data collection services. Title 59, approval, servicing and repair of potable water pumping facilities, award contract, servicing and repair of potable water pumping facilities. Award contract, Eastside Reservoir improvements. Award professional services contract, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances planning and treatment study. It was close. PFOS, PFOA. Award emergency contract, boiler replacement, Glen Avenue Water Facility. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. Moving on to ordinances, I move the first reading of ordinance 3698.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. So order, would the clerk please read ordinance 3698 by title?
A bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Village of Ridgewood in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating $2,137,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,030,000 bonds or notes of the village to finance part of the cost thereof.
I move that ordinance 3698 be adopted on first reading and that February 13th, 2019 be fixed as a date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3699.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. So order, would the clerk please read ordinance 3699 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-33, Permit Parking.
I make a motion to amend ordinance 3699 to include the language, no parking permit is required at the train station on Saturday, but regular rates apply.
From
Second.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll put that in there as well. Okay?
Second.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just do this. Okay. This is on the amendment. Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3699 as amended be adopted on first reading and that February 13th, 2019 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3700.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. So order, would the clerk please read ordinance 3700 by title?
An ordinance to amend Article 8 of Chapter 156 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Food and Food Handling Establishments at Article 8.
I move that ordinance 3700 be adopted on first reading and that February 13th, 2019 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3701.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. So order, would the clerk please read ordinance 3701 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 145 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood fees at Section 145-6, enumeration of fees relating to code chapters.
I move that ordinance 3701 be adopted on first reading and that February 13th, 2019 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3702.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes, so ordered. Will the clerk please read ordinance 3702 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-33, Permit Parking.
I move that ordinance 3702 be adopted on first reading and that February 13, 2019 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes, I move the first reading of ordinance 3703.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes, so ordered. Will the clerk please read ordinance 3703 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 145 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Fees, at Section 145-6, enumeration of fees relating to code chapters.
I move that ordinance 3703 be adopted on first reading and that February 13th, 2019 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3694 by title on second reading and that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes, will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3694?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 145, Fees of the Village Code, Parks and Recreation, Parks Shade Tree Division.
The public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3694 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3695 by title on second reading and that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. Will the clerk please read ordinance the title of ordinance 3695?
An ordinance of the Village of Ridgewood amending the provisions in Chapter 190 Land Use and Development concerning portable storage containers.
The public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3695 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3696 by title on second reading that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3696?
An ordinance of the Village of Ridgewood amending the provisions in Chapter 145 Fees for portable storage containers.
The public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3696 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3697 by title on second reading that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3697?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 145 Fees of the Village Code for grading pool membership fees.
So the Village Council has discussed this ordinance at length and has unanimously decided to remove the expiration date for the coupon books. This is not a substantive change to the ordinance, so it will be amended on the floor.
I move that ordinance 3697 be amended under this section, resident memberships, coupon booklets, to delete the sentence which states coupons expire at the end of the season.
Second.
Okay, this is on the amendment. Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hache.
Yes. The public hearing on ordinance 3697 as amended is now open.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Boyd Loving, 342 South Irving Street. The village manager previously this meeting explained the situation with respect to NA as it applies to the non-resident daily guest badges. However, there was no explanation offered as to the numbers that you were given during last week's work session, where it was said that there were 985 non-resident guests brought into Graden Pool last year, which in my calculations very roughly would mean that that equates to between 12 and 13 every day of the season. And I had a question about that number. It seemed very high to me, based upon the fact that when I'm at Graden Pool, it just doesn't seem like there could be that many non-resident guests. So this question that I have applies to the need to increase or to set the non-resident guest fee at $20. It was said that if you would lose $5,000, or the village would lose $5,000 in revenue based upon that figure, that there were 985 non-resident guests bought. So again, I question that number. The number seems very high to me. 12 a day, non-resident guests. Also have a question with respect to 3697. I see that there's a continued public hearing tonight for 3688, and some of the items that are in 3697 are also included in 3688. In particular, the change in the non-resident and resident guest fees. So why is this in two different ordinances, and do people need to speak twice about this, or can my comments now cover both of these ordinances? So has there been any resolution with respect to the figure of 985 non-resident guest passes during the course of the summer last year? Again, that number seems very high to me.
Ms. Bigos, do you have additional information you can provide to us? Okay. The only thing I know is that they went through each individual piece of paper for a guest. And so anytime it was a non-resident who was coming in as a guest, it was counted. So it may have been higher than it should have been. But technically, I think what they did was they looked back to see whose guest it was. If it was a non-resident member, then they counted it as a guest. I understand what you're saying. 12 to 13 people seems like a lot. However, that they went through each piece of paper for the guests for the entire season, and it was broken down by month.
So to me, what it sounds like, with all due respect, Ms. Maylander, is that there were 985 non-residents who came to the pool, but many of those may have been sponsored by residents,
It's
not by
possible,
non-residents.
but I believe that they checked the names of the member to see if they were a non-resident or a resident.
The issue here is that that figure is being used by the council to make a determination as to whether to charge $20 or $15. It is my belief that the $5,000 loss is an inflated number, and that there is no $5,000 loss, and that you could charge $15 to the non-resident guest and not wind up losing a lot of money. The non-resident guests are already paying a premium to be the non-resident members are already paying a premium to be non-resident members as opposed to resident members. So this is, to me, it's a double slap. We're charging you more to be a non-resident member, which is fine, but now we're going to charge you more to bring guests. And again, the 985 figure, since the Director of Parks and Recreation has said tonight that she has no additional information about that, I dispute that number. And I think that to base your decision on that number, that you believe that there's going to be a $5,000 loss, is erroneous. I don't think there would be a $5,000 loss if the non-resident members were charged the same price to bring a guest as a resident member. And I see the Deputy Mayor had a comment on this.
Yeah, so I just first want to say that my decision in this hasn't factored in that $5,000 or anything. But I do think the importance of having accurate information, I think it is, for me, would be very helpful. My understanding, and I don't know if Nancy wants to come up and have a seat, but my understanding was that the number, using that number, couldn't have been credible because the non-residents could not, that NA last year meant that they couldn't bring a guest, if I understood. They could.
That's not what I said. I said that they could, but they were charged the regular guest fee.
So they would charge the regular guest fee.
Correct.
So in other words, so we don't really, there's no way really for us to take that data out and figure out who brought who to the pool. There's no way for us to really extract that information. It's impossible. So for all we know, the non-resident members could have brought no guests.
Right. There could be non-resident members who brought no one. There could be non-resident members who brought guests every time they came.
Okay. Right. And then those, as long as our residents aren't being charged $20. So if our resident pass holders can bring a guest regardless of where that guest is from, they're
Correct.
being charged the 15.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
So,
absolutely right.
all right. So, I think that we're going to have to look at this and maybe in the future have that piece of information available so that when we look at this next year, maybe we want to tweak it and go back and say that maybe we had a little drop-off in guest passes because of that $20. I don't know. It has not weighed, that has not weighed factored into my decision at all, other than I think it's important to have the right information. That's all.
But
can certainly-
in the absence of there being any data to support that there would be a loss in revenue, why would you charge a non-resident member more to bring a guest than you would charge a resident member? As I've indicated, the non-resident member is already paying a premium to be a member. What difference is it? Why would you charge more for a guest? You have no data to support that there would be any loss of revenue. Why would you charge more? And with that, I'll be seated, but I'd also like to know why this is in two separate ordinances, why this is covered in two separate ordinances.
Let me explain that. Or do you want to go and see if there's anyone else for public hearing, and then I'll explain that?
Yeah, anybody else from the public who wants to come up? No, okay.
Do you want to close the public hearing then?
Yeah, and I also add, I mean, my decision, I don't see it as a loss. If anything, it's an opportunity cost, which is different than a loss. It's not that by charging it, we're going to be in the red, but, I mean, in my mind, I have no expectation if I go to another town to use a, local amenity, that I will be treated the same as residents. So whether or not it's 5,000 or less, I don't think that non-residents deserve the same rate as residents.
My preference has always been to leave it at the $15. That was my preference all along. I just didn't see any reason if somebody's already paying an increased rate. But I think at this point, this is something that we need to get done because we have to have these rates set in stone. We can always go back and rethink it, but we need to get this done because we need to start getting this up onto a website, getting early bird registrations. So there's a clock ticking here for us that we need to adhere to.
All right. So I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Newton,
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Hache?
Yes.
So let me just say that certainly we'll try to separate that out this year at grading the non-resident member guests and determine how many there were. And then in addition, the reason why it's two, if you recall, we introduced 3688, which has a continued public hearing, and then we wanted to be more specific. We also wanted to add in the coupon booklets. And so by saying, because I think the original one said non-resident guest sponsored, and so that's why we wanted to change it to non-resident seasonal adult member sponsored guest, to be more specific. So the one that we're holding the hearing on now, 3697, is the one you just spoke on, Mr. Loving, and so therefore it was to be more specific. 3688 was the original one, which had the continued hearing because we had some questions, and so 3697 will supersede 3688.
Okay. So just, all right, fine. So that was that. Okay. I move that ordinance, we closed the public hearing, right?
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
good. All right, fine. I move that ordinance 3697 as amended be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Newton?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Hache?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3688 by title on third reading that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hushay.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3688?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 145 fees of the village code for grading pool membership fees and tennis membership fees.
So the hearing on ordinance 3688 was continued to this evening's meeting so the village council could review additional information about fees for non-resident member guest passes and coupon booklets. These matters have been discussed. The village council has decided that ordinance 3688 is ready to be adopted as proposed. So with that, the public hearing on ordinance 3688 is now continued. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hushay.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3688 be adopted on third reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hushay.
Yes.
The following resolutions, numbered 19-20 through 19-36, are to be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Authorize tax assessor, tax collector to file appeals and/or settlement stipulations. Title 59 approval, landfill disposal of solid waste. Award contract, landfill disposal of solid waste. Title 59 approval, 2019 recreational program instruction. Award contracts, 2019 recreational program instruction. Approved shared services agreement, school resource officer with the Ridgewood Board of Education. Approved shared services agreement, Bergen County Police Chiefs Association, Mutual Aid Plan and Rapid Deployment Force. Declare property surplus, Parks Department logs. Declare property surplus, various vehicles. Clarify compliance with federal civil rights requirements. Authorize release of escrow funds for 143 and 147 West Glen Avenue. Endorse application for Community Development Block Grant, Care Plus New Jersey, Inc., Client Transportation Assistance. Approve place-to-place transfer of liquor license, 54 East Ridgewood Landmark LLC, expansion of licensed premises. Authorize bond sale for funding Hudson Street parking garage. Appoint member to Zoning Board of Adjustment. Appoint members to the Library Board. Appoint members to the Community Center Advisory Board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Newton.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Hushay.
Yes. With that, we go back to comments from the public, not to exceed 5 minutes per person.
Pamela Perrin, 123 Kenilworth Road. Last week, Ms. Maylander mentioned that you're on the point of purchasing property, equipment to improve the sound system here, and that's wonderful. My question is, what was the diagnosis? What is the problem? And what is the treatment? And what are the qualifications of the person who diagnosed the problem? Thank you.
Good evening again, Boyd Loving, 342 South Irving Street. I am aware that there is an ordinance in the code that prohibits the discharge of sump pumps into the sanitary sewer system. However, I have noticed during the course of the past several weeks that there are many streets in Ridgewood that are very icy now because the water table is extremely high because we had a record amount of rain this year, and the sump pumps are discharging water now into the streets, and it is freezing immediately. I'm not sure what can be done about this, if there's any recourse to this, but the high water table is creating a dangerous situation because people have to discharge their sump pumps someplace other than the sanitary sewer. Marshall Street has been a nightmare. The portion of Franklin Avenue between South Maple Avenue and North Irving Street has been bad, and I understand there's also been some very serious conditions up on Lake Street at the Midland Park border. I would ask that the village engineer be directed to try to determine what kind of solution can be deployed to try to ease the pain of motorists who are driving around and hit these icy spots and pedestrians who are walking in crosswalks across these. Again, it's an unusual situation. It comes because we've had so much rain this year, but it is something that I think needs to be addressed because it looks like it's going to go on all winter long. On our way here this evening, we drove up Marshall Street, and there is water flowing from several residents on Marshall Street actively into the street at all times of the day and night. That's how high the water table is. The other comment I have is that, as you probably know, a Dunkin' Donuts may be opening up on Route 17 where the Shell station was. I've got some concerns about people who are driving northbound on Route 17 who might decide that they're going to park their car on the shoulder and run across the road and get something. Several years ago, there was a unfortunate incident where there was a person who did try to cross the road right at the Shell station and was hit and killed at about 11 p.m. one evening. I note that in Secaucus along Route 3, in addition to the concrete barrier, the DOT has erected a very short chain link fence on top of the barrier. That might be something that we want to consider in that area, since you now have a convenience store at the Exxon station and you're going to have a Dunkin' Donuts there, just to prevent people from going over. Again, something perhaps the village engineer and the police chief can take a look at to see if that might be a wise idea. Thank you very much.
Anybody else, public comment? Okay. We'll close public comment. Before we move on, I know there's a question about the sound system. I don't recall the name of the firm that we've have looking at the sound issues here, or the technology that we're looking at. I know Dylan had mentioned, but when he talks to me about this technology stuff, I go blank a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have the name of the company. I know he's actually having one additional company come in by the end of this week, and that'll be, I believe, 3 different companies that have been in. So he's just trying to get the best. I think all of us know that part of it is the shape of this barrel shape of the ceiling. We can hear people in the back row. I'm talking to the Lovings, that when you speak, we actually can hear you very well up here. I just want to let you know.
Yes, when you're whispering back there, we hear every word.
So that's part of the issue. And so truly, I think that what we're going to come up with will help tremendously. And then in addition, the new camera system, I think, will also be an improvement.
I think you mentioned the ceiling was part of it, the floor as well.
Correct.
And then there was also a way that these speakers pick up sound from different parts of the room. I know there was a complicated thing. But if it's cheaper, maybe we'll just go in the back of the room, put the dais back there, and then people can hear us when they're sitting here. Maybe we'll just...
It's different, you know, and this is a design flaw. The room is designed, it's just a design that doesn't work for a sound system. It looks beautiful, but it just doesn't work with sound. And you know, not for lack of trying, and we've tried to troubleshoot this and work through a number of options, and I think we will get there in very short. I'm comfortable we're going to get there in very short order, because we recognize that that is where the issue is, that it's just traveling muffled around that ceiling. So
I know there was also a question about the sump pumps and the overflowing. We have been looking at it, so Chris is aware of this. In addition to the sump pumps kind of operating now constantly for some houses, we also have the issue of the blind basins overflowing from neighboring municipalities as well. So it's a domino effect from many other different municipalities. So we're looking at it, and then we're going to try to come up with some good solutions. With that, we'll take a resolution to go into closed session.
Be it resolved by the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood that the Village Council meet in closed session on January 16th, 2019 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter on the agenda can be reached. And the said closed session be held in the caucus room of the Ridgewood Village Hall, 131 North Maple Avenue, Ridgewood, New Jersey. Be it further resolved that the matters to be discussed in closed session are limited to personnel matters, contract negotiations, to include PBA negotiations. These matters are allowable under NJSA 10:4-12 and be it further resolved that the minutes of this meeting shall be made available to the general public when such matters have been deemed completed by resolution of the Village Council. May I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.